What up? Uh, just did 22 minutes meditation. Fuck, man, it's hard. Because it seems like if you don't have a purpose for meditation, then what are you doing, you know? And it's like, what is my purpose for meditation? When I first got into it, when I first got into meditation, it was because of, other people were saying they were doing it. Like the people that I were watching on YouTube, they were into like psychedelics and spirituality and all that. When I first started getting into that. A lot of people would say that you've got to meditate every day. It's good for anxiety. You're getting in touch with the present moment. We're so distracted all the time, thinking about all the problems of our past and future. So it's like, this is the purpose of why I got into meditation. I got into it because it was like, well, this will help me. This will help with my anxiety. This will help with, spiritual work. But that's the thing, it's like, is that when you start taking the spiritual road, you don't know what you're getting into. Like, you don't actually know what you're doing. Like, there's just some inclination to do it. To read and listen and watch spiritual things. And of course, that's an inclination because there's this like yearning within us to be free, to be, and there's this recognition within all of us that there's more to life than just our concepts, which we think they're real. We think the way that we look at reality, we think that's how reality is, but I think there's a deeper recognition within us that knows that the way we look at reality isn't reality, plainly as it is. As much as we can see anyway, There's so much overlaid onto our natural beingness. So there's this like natural inclination to want to recover this essence of who we are, get back to this innate happiness. This is really what it is, Why do we do anything in life? It's to be happy, isn't it? And not like some emotion of happiness, but like a deeper sense of inner peace. Like unconditional happiness in every moment. And so when I sit down to meditate, I usually have the intention of, I'm going to have an unjudgmental awareness. If there's like pain in my body, I'm just going to observe it for what it is. If there are constant thoughts coming up, I'm just going to observe them and not get attached to them. And not judge it, not be like, oh, this is bad, this is good. But of course that does tend to happen, is that a lot of thoughts come up and be like, oh, am I meditating right? Am I doing it right? Oh, should I be following my breath, or should I just listen to the sounds, or should I just sit? Should I just sit down? Should I just sit down? Should I just be? Like like it's so simple. Meditation is so simple. You literally just sit down. That's it. Nothing else needs to be done. But of course, the hard thing is that we are always doing something. Even if we are just sitting down, we are thinking, and that is an act of doing. Thinking about things is using up our energy. It's an act of doing. And so, just sitting, simple as it sounds, is very fucking difficult. Because we are addicted to thinking. We are addicted to doing. We cannot just sit. We cannot just be. So, yeah, like, there's different sort of techniques of meditation, but I think it all is about the same thing. And this is kind of, like, tripping me out a bit. Like, I don't know whether to follow my breath or just, like, do nothing, just, like, sit. So what I usually do these days at the moment is I follow my breath for probably about like 10 minutes. And then I just sort of like, I can sort of watch it more passively, but then also encompass more things into my awareness, like the sounds and my whole body, and then like the space around me. So I'll notice my breath, and then like my body as one thing, like how it feels. And I'll notice in the space around me, and then I'll get in touch with this idea that, oh, I just need to sit, like there's no doing involved, I just need to sit. And then I need to let go of that idea, and it's just, I'm just sitting. So, yeah, I don't know. I really need to sort of like commit to one technique, or at least, commit to, the process of, what am I going to do in one session of meditation. And then sometimes I do self-inquiry, like ask, who am I? Who is, what is reality? Or, just like, what is this? Like, who is this? What is this? Who is this? Who am I? What am I? That kind of thing. Get in touch with, like, what is this, like, consciousness? The thing is that, yeah, we imagine so much. We're constantly imagining. Like, that's all we ever fucking do. We're in imagination all of the fucking time. Always. The way we look at the outside world and ourselves is imagination. We're not looking at it how it actually is. We're looking at it based on the past. Really? And misunderstandings of the past. Things that we have got in our head that is not actually true, but yet we keep them. We keep building upon these lies that we think are real. We keep building upon these stories that people have told us, or that we've told ourselves, that is actually false, but we've believed it's real, and so you've got this starting point, and we've gone all the way up, and so we've built this whole storyline on this one single foundational false idea, and so, you know what I mean? And we label shit. Like looking around me, it's like chair, TV, fireplace, clock, mirror. And it's all imagination. I mean, these things are actually here, but the labels that I'm putting on them is imagination, and the way that I'm looking at them is imagination. I'm not looking at them just as, here, just as this thing. Because there have been moments where I've just sort of there have been moments where it has just been like, this is it. I can't even fucking explain it. Because it's like, to explain it is to use imagination. So it's like, sometimes we really we imagine what it's like to be enlightened, or we imagine what it's like to be in the moment all the time. And we can imagine that, but that's not it. Because, getting in touch with the present moment, or being enlightened, is just being truth. Just seeing things as they actually are. It's very difficult because it's like, if I'm not seeing things for how they actually are, then how am I seeing things? Because I can look around me and it's like, well, how am I seeing this room then? And how am I seeing these sounds perspective wise? If I'm not looking at the world for how it actually is, how am I seeing it? And I can't even fucking answer that question because it's so habitual, I guess, And so this can be a trap, is that, maybe there have been moments where you really catch glimpses of being in truth. Seeing reality for how it actually is. And then you can, want to get back to that place. So you sort of imagine what that was like. You sort of try and remember what that was like. But then you've lost it, because then you're in imagination again. This is the difficult trap that I can get into, is that, sometimes maybe I'm in meditation and it's like, oh, I've got to be present. I try and remember what it was like to be really present, or try and imagine what it's like to be really present. But that's not it. Being present is about having no sort of remembrance or imagination. It's literally this. You don't need anything. It's an act of being. It's not an act. It's just being. It's not an act of doing. There's no imagination. There's no remembering. There's no sort of mental process. It's just, you don't need to do anything, but we're so fucking addicted to doing, thinking about concepts and philosophies and all sorts of stories that aren't even true. That was a very interesting thing that I said just before about how there's this one foundational lie, this thing that we believe, and then we keep building upon it. You know, maybe like in the past someone treated us badly, and I don't know, maybe they're like a specific stereotype, and then from then on we were just like, oh, those, like I've got to stay away from those kind of people, that kind of stereotype, because you know they are, you know, they're not good in whatever certain way you want to look at it. And from that point on, that's the lie that you hold on to, that you believe is true, because it's like, that's, you know, you get hurt and then you put your, like, you associate this hurt with this external thing. And then from that point on, you keep building upon that storyline. And, you know, it's hard to fucking break out of that. I don't know if this is the best example, but and so we do this with everything. We construct our whole reality built upon foundations of falsehood, of lies, of misinterpretations, misunderstandings. You know, a lot of us look at certain people and go, oh, these certain people are like this, you know, these other people are like this, you know. We make these assumptions about people based on previous experiences, and we have assumptions about situations and all these things that, so we construct our whole reality, you know, all these things, all these misunderstandings in our like early childhood, and you know, still up to every fucking day that you live, but building upon, we're constructing reality constantly to suit us. Not necessarily going to help us, but to to keep our identity going, because it's all we know of. It's a habit. It's an addiction. Because it's like, who the fuck are you if you let go of all these lies? And it's not like you know it. It's not like, you know, you lied, that's a bad thing. It's like, it's just, we've misunderstood things. We've not seen it truly. But yet we hold on to these things, and yeah, like I said, we build upon it constantly. And so then we've got a series of things that we believe in that are actually false, because this first starting point was false. And we can't even like see it because we're in it, you know. The only way you can see it is if you're out of it, if you're detached from it. Because right now, I would like say, I would say certainly that this is like my natural state. I am just, you know, like, I'm just being me. This is just normal. Like this is normal. Like, I would say this is normal. But actually, I'm in an altered state of consciousness. And I know that because of other experiences that I've had that have made me detach, have made me step outside myself and see that what this is right now is an altered state of consciousness. The ego. But you see, we think, you know, the ego is this big misunderstanding, you know. So yeah, it's like, oh, this is the normal state. This is, yeah, the natural state. But actually, no, this is the ego state, and the ego state is an altered state of consciousness. It's not the natural state. But it seems so fucking natural because it's been so fucking habitual. It's been here the majority of the time. Anyway, I don't know what to say.